You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Vellante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
It's Ken Vellante here with the Sicktown Roller Derby, talking to Hot Flash.
I was interested, but my job was such that I didn't have time to join practices or boot camp. A year ago, I stepped down a little bit on my work, and I wanted to try it. I'm an older person, and I wanted to try it and do something outside of work.
Yeah, it's great to have something outside of that, something that's your own and get away. And one things I know is you create a little bit of space away from work and add some space that's in there for yourself, and that must have been your experience. Talk to us a little bit about roller derby and what it means to you right now.
Right now it means, like you said, it's my own. It's not work. It's a separate world. It's a world where I'm supported, I'm learning, I'm meeting wonderful women that I wouldn't have normally met, and I work hard, and I laugh a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear about the laughing. And one of the things about the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast is that it's a creativity and art podcast. Just was wondering if you have any particular ideas about art, or there's art that you make or enjoy in particular.
My family, my mom was a musician and a painter. My sisters are terribly creative. I've never gotten that gene. So when I do roller derby, that is something new that I have. Since I don't have those skills, I enjoy all of those things, but that's not where my skill set lies. And so this is different.
Tell us what you expect from Sicktown Roller Derby team this season.
I expect some amazing bouts. I expect some wins. I expect loud, crazy, wild crowds.
Yeah, and very much look forward to seeing you, Hot Flash, out on the roller derby. The show is in art and
creativity that comes in how people select their names. If you start talking with people on the team and hearing how they chose their name, there's a lot of creativity comes with that. Then choosing a number. So those are kind of the first two things that are hard for people when they first join is, what are you gonna be called your name, and what's the number too? So, and again, as well as the attire as you come out and see the people at the bouts.
Yeah, I think I've been seeing on social media, on Instagram, and seeing the names, and I think it's always fun to see names that just make you laugh out loud because they're so great and there's such wordplay. It's a really enjoyable part of it. I just wanted to ask one more question. You talked about with the team playing in different spots, and now maybe a little bit better space, maybe more interest in it. Do you see that overall for roller derby and just people picking up skates and doing something different?
Well, the nice thing about skating is, even if you're not on a team, you can go to a skate park, traditionally for skateboards, and skate. Or you can just go outside on your local park. And here in Corvallis, we have, miles of bike paths where you can see people just roller skating. So whether you have a space inside or outside, you can get out. And, skates are getting a little cheaper if you find them here and there. Maybe not derby skates, but I've seen where people get skates and get out, kind of like bikes these days. And our organization is starting to get juniors involved in Albany and around. So if we can spread the word, I think some people don't know that we're out there. So that's part of it.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much, Rec. And of course, with the podcast and the great season coming up ahead, it'll be great to see Sicktown Roller Derby develop. Really excited to meet Bone Daddy. Bone, tell us about yourself.
So actually, usually I don't go by Bone. I either go by Dad or Daddy, just because there's somebody else on our team who's already called Cinnabones, and she's got the bones part. So it's either Dad or Daddy, depending on how you're feeling. So I started roller derby back in October-ish. It's just something that I've really wanted to do ever since I was a kid, and I haven't really been able to make time to do that for myself, or really feel like I could break out of my shell and do something that was really challenging. So for me, roller derby has been kind of like, testing myself to see, to see if I can do like challenging things. And by doing challenging things, it kind of pushes me just to keep going on.
Yeah. Well, tell me in particular about this team, Sicktown Roller Derby, and your experience skating and getting involved with this particular club. I
actually skate with Emerald City Roller Derby down in Eugene, and I've been coming up to Sicktown just because I want to get more practice in. I love roller derby so much. I've come to practices 3 times a week now, so my entire life has kind of become consumed by roller derby, and this is just a way for me to get more of it.
Wonderful. I was seeing just earlier today, I was looking on Facebook, and the Portland team, they had a Facebook Live on that, so I'm hoping more video and more like capturing of the matches themselves. There's a ton of creativity that comes along with roller derby and like personality and identity. Astrid from the Sicktown Roller Derby. Astrid, tell us about yourself.
I am 35. I have not done skating for very long, especially not roller derby. Growing up in the 90s, I was very into rollerblading, skateboarding, things like that, but I never kind of stuck with anything. I actually dated somebody who got me interested in roller derby, but I still didn't pick it up. I was too afraid of being injured. It took a good 10 years to try to just find somebody to say, hey, you should just try this out.
Yeah, I like hearing that just on the end. You need somebody. I find that a lot of times. Hey, just try this out. And it's such a fun thing. I've actually watched roller derby for quite some time. I've seen teams out in Wisconsin, so I'm actually familiar with a bunch of roller derby, but not as familiar with Sicktown roller derby team. And can you just tell us about what the experience has been like for you and getting involved with the team in this way?
Yeah, so my coworker was the one who recruited me and kind of pushed me to get more involved. I went to a league meeting for the first time, which I noticed that I was the only person in boot camp to show up, which felt awkward. But my coworker was nice enough to say, hey, look, this is the boot camper. They're here. Everybody nice. And everybody was. We had a nice potluck. I got to listen to more of the intricacies of like running a league, which is not something that anybody in boot camp really gets a chance to observe. But it was really important to see how it all works.
It's great. It's great to hear a little bit more about the development there. And one of the questions I have just generally is there seems to be a ton of creativity involved with a lot of the athletes, but also like within creation of your identity. Do you have any thoughts about like creativity, your own creativity, tied to this?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head, I think, with mentioning identity. I think that people come from all walks of life. They try to create a very unique persona. And I know a lot of derby rules probably since the dawn of time has always been, you have to be a unique individual, unique name, and no one else in the history of derby can have it. But because so many people have been interested in it more recently, it's been harder to find that very perfect, unique name. I think that a lot of people end up picking names that are based off of power words like crush and slam, because it just kind of sinks in with the sport. I have yet to figure my name out, and I'm going to take as long as I possibly can because I do appreciate the value of that artistic uniqueness.
Yeah, take your time. It'll develop unless you have to fill out the form. Really excited. I think I should pronounce it grr or grr. I'm going to let you pronounce it. I'm going to let you do the pronunciation and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
I'm Gur. I'm Sicktown's webmaster, and I do the majority of their marketing and design. I have been skating with the team for probably about 3 years. I was one of the last class of boot camps that passed up right before the pandemic hit. So it was like a little bit gnarly there for a while practicing with the team, but we managed to get through it, and now we are playing. So come see our bout.
playing. That's so great. I've been talking to other skaters. Could you just tell a little bit about with the club coming together, the pandemic, and the reformation, that kind of story?
It was extremely difficult because basically, I mean, you can't have a physical sport when you can't have physical contact. So there were a lot of different logistics that we needed to figure out. And at the same time, we had lost our rink because if we're not playing and we don't have a large membership, it's hard to pay for the roof costs and keeping the lights on. So basically, we scrambled and we created kind of like our own little sub-team within roller derby to make sure that roller derby continued to survive in this town, like in the meantime. So it was interesting and challenging, but it's super rewarding to then sit here now and look at all of our new classes, and as our league has grown exponentially in the last year or so, it's just amazing to watch new skaters come up. And having found love of roller skating during the pandemic as one of the main hobbies that people were picking up, they just kind of came in, and now we're building a whole new league with a sport that needs to be revitalized again. It's great.
I'm really excited about it. I love roller skating. I'm not particularly good at it, but and I've watched roller derby for a real long time. So it was really cool to connect with the team and just see the visibility and what it was doing for players, and to be able to create yourself within the derby team. Speaking about the creativity around that, tons of creativity, tons of creatives with a lot of the players. Just some thoughts upon the creativity that you'll find in roller derby?
Oh man, we have all sorts. We have basically, I think roller derby attracts a lot of people who are that alternative off-brand, and the creative types really need a way to have an outlet of real physical energy. Because, I mean, if I don't know about how anyone else feels, but rejection is hard, and having to be confident and advertise yourself. These are all really difficult, vulnerable positions that you find yourself in. But when you're skating, you have this, you're not only protected by your pads and physically protected, but you also have, these people that you can suddenly rely on that you just don't get anywhere else. And it's really nice to see this sort of, it's like the misfits getting together and finally finding a community for themselves. It's really nice.
I really love that. It's something I'm an organizer, a union organizer, so I do a lot of collective work, and there's something about being in that group and knowing somebody's going to have your back on principle or whatever. Yeah. That's just incredibly empowering. Any thoughts or predictions on what you might expect to see with the Sicktown Roller Club this season?
Well, you're going to see us hitting a lot of ourselves and a lot of other people, a lot of other teams. We have our bout in May coming up. We have another bout in October coming up, and I'm honestly thinking that we're going to double our team size between now and then, between now and the end of the year, because with the classes and with renewed interest, I think it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have so many great new faces and new personalities to skate with. I'm so excited, personally.
It's great to hear that. Okay, so the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast is one of the top 5% podcasts in the world, and a lot of people will download it and listen to it. Art, philosophy, roller derby, everything. What would you say to people who are you mentioned roller derby, you get a little face or something. What would you say to folks about roller derby and what it really means and what it does?
I would say try it. I mean, the adrenaline that you get the first time you knock somebody down is it's almost like the first time that the doors open for you. It's the first time someone invites you into a gallery and says, "We want to hang your work." It's like all of those great moments kind of combined. And when you're skating with different teams and different players, you can almost have that feeling with individuals. If you went up against someone before and you couldn't take them out, but the next time you skate against them, you did. It's that same feeling over and over again. So it's a great way to replicate success in a small scale. Yeah.
Meeting the Sick Team Roller Derby makes me really excited for the team play coming up. continuing talks with the Sicktown Roller Derby. Have Lady Guinevere here, and I'm so excited to talk to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you encounter roller derby.
Hi, nice to meet you. Glad to be here. How did I get here? I started skating like 50 years ago, like literally. I started when I was 2, and I was a speed skater in my youth. And roller derby was something I watched in the 70s and 80s and just seemed like a natural progression. It took me a while to get here. I didn't start until 2016. But yeah, that's how I got here. And I chose, my real name is Gwendolyn. I chose Lady Guinevere because I like all things about King Arthur and Lancelot. It just seemed like a perfect name, and a friend of mine picked it and suggested it. I changed the spelling a little bit from what they suggested, and here I am.
Wonderful. Tell me about the team and team coming together and some of the dynamics. I've heard from a lot of the athletes of everybody being different, everybody feeling like there's a good space for them to work in. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sicktown has a long history of surviving things. They started back in 2008, and people went their different ways, and then we came together, and more of us formed together, and then COVID hit, and we scattered again, and so we're rebuilding right now, and it's pretty great. We have all the ages. 18 is our obviously youngest because it's an adult league, and I'm the second oldest on our league currently. But we have people in my boot camp right now that are older than I am, and so it's open to all ages, and which makes it great and wonderful. And we have people for me, I don't like to bring our stuff in from outside, but we do have a lot of people from different walks of life, and that does start to come in and be seen and be celebrated and supported in all of the ways that we can do that the best way we can. Even if we don't necessarily agree or understand something, because we all are different ages and stuff, we more times than not, we talk about it, we love each other, we work it out. We educate, we help, nurture and grow, and understand that we're all coming from this place of love and good intentions, and not to be assholes. Can I say it? Assholes?
Yeah, on my show you can.
Yeah.
It's Cindy. No
Yeah.
sponsors.
Okay.
You say what you want.
Yeah. So, so we love everybody.
Thank you. It's really inspiring to hear.
All the crowns. I have a crown on my helmet. One of our skaters gifted me with her artwork on my skate for my 50th birthday. So I just emulated, is that the right word? Emulated a crest from England. I'm also obsessed with England and Scotland. So emulated me a crest with my name and things that I love. And then I got a tattoo of it. And, so that's one way we do it. We have lots of people that, they'll do their makeup, their bout makeup, but it's all about the bout fit, what we're wearing on the day. And so I do that in my shorts that I wear. I tend to get shorts that go with the theme or match my jersey, whatever. So I have Christmas shorts. I'm getting some shorts special for the bout coming up in May. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, a lot of people will do makeup. I'm not very good at makeup, but I will do my makeup. But it's just like what I wear every day. We do stickers in our helmets. It's really where you'll see our personalities as well as on our helmets, with all of our. I don't know. It's just stickers is what it is, and so yeah, like I have one here that says the bigger the ass, the harder to pass, and we really do embrace like all body types too, and so it gives me permission to like my big ass. I've always liked my big ass, but other people like my big ass too now. So.
It's great talking to Lady Guinevere. I was just thinking of Mists of Avalon and the power in roller derby.
Next.
They're working hard right now, skating in boot camp and practice. And I'm lucky to have another skater. Could you introduce yourself to us?
I'm Blade Maiden. I go by Blade.
Thank you, Blade. And one of the questions I've been asking folks, I adore roller derby. A lot of folks in this room do, but why roller derby for you?
I used to play basketball in high school, and I really enjoyed the camaraderie that a team brought and also the physicality of it. And I played women's league when I got a little bit older, but that dissipated here in Corvallis. And so I think I was just sort of searching for something that would bring the same, give me teammates and that social circle and some of those same things. And you get to hit people that are willing to be hit. So one day I was just passing by the old roller rink and saw the sign for roller derby, and I thought, give it a try. It was a lot harder than I expected. Wanted to quit right away, but I thought, I'm just going to push through. And now 6 years later, here I am. I'm the president. So,
wow. Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you. And in talking to the skaters, it's an ordeal. It's a lot to put in, and I know the movements of skating are different for the body than other type of movements. What has it been a little bit deeper going in, seeing the team dynamics of a team of different folks working together on those things? What have you seen?
Well, you start off as a boot camper, and you start off not knowing anything, or many of our skaters know nothing, and some of them are very different learners. Some are visual learners, some are verbal, so we really have to accommodate how people learn. But as you develop and move into different levels, we really see different skaters develop different skills, and we encourage them, and just they gain that empowerment that we are really looking for. And we really try to, that's one of our goals here, is to empower and make sure that people find that inner strength. So
yeah, I've been particularly sensitive and seen a lot of the kind of groups or spaces, I don't know, after the pandemic, where folks who felt isolated, or that type of isolation, whether things are reconnecting or reconfiguring, I've just seen a lot of energy and inspiration, within team sport, and feeling that you can do things with others and develop with others. About the creativity that I see in roller derby around whether it's expression of personality, or the fact that many of the skaters I talk to are creatives or have a creative bent to begin with. What's your thoughts about the connection of creativity, in particular with roller derby, for instance?
Well, you are definitely free to express who you are or be who you are in roller derby, and you are accepted for that, whatever that may be. We do have a lot of people in our league that are creative in many different ways. I'm a chef, which is a little bit creative in a different way than, say, an artist, but one might say it's an artistry of its own. But we express ourselves through how we might dress, or how we might pick our derby names, or what we might do in our fundraisers and our thought processes, and how we work together on our board and within our league. So there's a lot of creativity just working as a group together. So we do express ourselves in many different ways.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to see. I wanted to ask one more thing. What do you expect to see from Sicktown Roller Derby in the next few months? What do you see developing? More people involved, boot camp, more ideas, more people. What do you expect to see?
Well, we were really lucky to actually survive the pandemic. A lot of leagues didn't. So the fact that we have grown to this number, I'm really excited about. And so I'm just excited to see. We have our first bout coming up, which is, really exciting. And actually we have 2 this year. So I'm just excited to see the players that we have grow and develop, and our skill level improve. We're getting new trainers moving up. So just growing our league and developing our skill level to a higher level. So it's exciting to finally get to that point after, with the pandemic, not having a practice space, not being able to do what we, were doing, even though we were doing it to a minute level all along, just in safer ways and different ways.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to hear, what's coming up for the team, and ran into Mountain Pony. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I am Mountain Pony. You can call me Pony for short. I am an artist and homesteader, and am addicted to roller skating.
All right, that's the lead. Homesteader, artist, addicted to roller skating. Going into the question that I think everybody wonders, I get excited to ask it. Why roller derby?
Why roller derby? Roller derby actually happened on accident. I joined boot camp a little over a year ago, last winter. I do dance and trail skating previously mainly. And it rains here a lot, as you may have noticed. So I signed up for boot camp because you got access to open skates. So I just wanted to be able to skate inside during the winter. And I'm not a team sport person, so I didn't even consider that roller derby would actually be a thing for me. But the bug bit me, and here I am over a year later. I'm an advanced skater. I'm on the board of directors, and it has consumed my life almost entirely.
All right, that's the type of dedication I myself, and when I look at things, I really appreciate. What I wanted to ask you a little bit more too is about talking to a lot of athletes about how important the team dynamic is, or maybe feeling isolated, want to jump into something else that's part of them, and how important it is to be able to do that with others. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, so I work from home. We live kind of in the sticks. So I don't communicate verbally with other human beings very often. And like I said, I hadn't been planning on joining roller derby, and I am not a team sport person. It gives me anxiety, and I'm very competitive, and so it's not any fun. And when I joined that boot camp, it was we all clap for each other when we fall. We clap for each other when we try something, and you did it a little better than last time. And it was kind of amazing that I'm a human being. Human beings are social animals. I had forgotten that. And then when I advanced out of boot camp, I did 2 boot camps because I was not reliable at stopping yet. I thought.
Reliable. No, wait a second. Not reliable at stopping. I've had that problem throughout my life, yes.
Yeah, I technically was promoted, but I wanted to do another boot camp because I didn't think I was good enough at stopping. But so when I joined the team, especially since I made an advanced skater and we're getting ready for this bout in May, I have really felt like I'm part of a team. And I've never felt that before. High school, awkward, not team person. This is really the first time in my life. I'm 41 years old. This is the first time in my life I've felt like I'm part of a team, and friendships, the whole thing, and showing up for each other and giving each other moral support, saying thank you when people do things for you, it's pretty great.
That's great to hear. I understand that you're an artist, creative. Tell us about that. What do you do?
Yeah, it's a pretty weird thing that I do for a living. I stab wool repeatedly until it looks just like a cute version of your dog or cat. Fiberfriendsonline.com. So I was previously a children's book illustrator. I guess I'm still technically a children's book illustrator, but with the Great Recession, I didn't have an agent. Fast forward, I get this puppy named Pocket, a corgi, and you may have noticed that corgis are rather popular. We got her 13 years ago, so we were before the trend. But so I have a lot of clients that are corgis, but I do all different kinds of animals. But yeah, so I am up in my little hermited studio upstairs, and we live right on the corner of 2 logging roads, so I'm like the CEO of Busybodies Anonymous, noticing, Jerry left his list, he just turned back to go home. But yeah, so I make pet portraits for a living, which is strange, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. When I was a freelance illustrator, you work for editors and stuff, art directors, and they're not the most fun of bosses. My bosses are people all over the world who love their dog enough to spend a couple $100 to make a tiny version of them that they can't play with, that they can just look at.
I really love hearing about that. I think just the emotional content of art really speaks to me, and I know that's so exciting to hear. Any final predictions for what we're going to see from Sicktown Roller Derby 2023?
Oh man, I mean, our numbers are growing all the time. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more bouts. I'm hoping that we're going to start doing away bouts. I'm personally going to miss our October bout. We have a bout in October, and I'm pretty bummed about that. But I think you're just going to keep seeing more awesome roller derby in your local area.
I have just bumped into Slade Marion. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Slade Marion. I skate with the Sicktown Roller Derby, and I'm also the merch maven on the team.
Merch maiden as well. It's been so great to talk to so many roller derby athletes. I wanted to ask you the question I've asked others. Why roller derby?
I love the community. It's very inclusive, and it's fun to be badass, and you get a workout from it. It's amazing.
It's fun to be badass. I'll definitely agree with that. About the team, I've talked to a lot of the athletes, and they've talked about, themselves, but also connecting to the team and like doing something that can be a huge challenge and doing it with others. Can you talk about your experience with that?
It's nice to be included in a team that really gets along well, and the entire community in general is just very inclusive. Like, you can go skate anywhere and just immediately have somewhere to go. I actually went out of town to Montana once, and I randomly hit up their roller derby league, and I said, "Hey, can I come skate with you for today?" And they said, "Absolutely, we would love to have you." So it's the entire community is like one large team, and it's very welcoming.
That's wonderful. Whereabouts in Montana?
Missoula, I believe.
In Missoula, and you run into a roller derby team, and they took you in for the practice. It's great to hear that. All right, so athletes I talk to, they're super creative, both in like how they approach their person or the identity within like roller derby. Talk to me about the creativity that you're involved with or see in roller derby.
It's really nice to have like a brand or a theme with your identity in roller derby. Like for me personally, I was named after Robin Hood in my real life, and so I took that into my roller derby life as well. So I have Slade Marion, like Maid Marion, and 73, my derby number, is the year that Disney's Robin Hood came out. So.
Wow. Thanks for letting us know and telling us about that. What was about the 73 again?
The year that Disney's Robin Hood came out.
Aha. Okay. When you said 73, my brother was born in 73. I got terribly distracted for a moment. What do you expect to see from Sicktown Roller Derby 2023?
It's our comeback year. We lost a lot of skaters during COVID, and even before that, we were kind of dwindling down. So it's really nice to see everything like building back up.
Huge rebound, tons of skaters, boot camp and everything. I'm so excited for the team. I've run into the roller derby referee. Might you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Carmen Unglued.
Carmen Unglued. I want to ask you, which I've asked a lot of the athletes, why roller derby?
So I started back in 2011, and I saw the movie Whip It, and I watched it like 3 more times, and I was 40 at the time, and I was like, I can do that. So I looked it up on the internet, and I found a team, and I just went and joined one day.
Love it. It was just that quick. You like what you saw. Tell us about in particular as a referee and being around the league and all this incredible talent. What that's a very unique role, a ref for the roller derby. Tell us all about it.
A lot of us start as skaters, so I skated for about 8 years, and then I had some injuries that I don't want to do contact anymore, but I still wanted to be part of the team, and so I learned the rules a little better. It's a little different when you're reffing than when you're playing, you know. And I'm just glad that I'm still here and still around and still skating. And, you know, it's interesting being an official, either a skating official or a non-skating official, because it takes so many of us to put on a bout that I'm just trying to advocate for the inclusion of not just every skater and how badass they all are, but every volunteer, every skating official, every non-skating official, and how important every single one of them are to just the team as a whole, let alone putting on the bouts and everything that goes on outside of that. You know, I think that just a shout out to appreciation to all of those people, I think needs to happen. Yeah.
Thank you for spending the time to say that, because it really is so important. And you look at the amount of volunteers and people putting in their time and the administrative things and talking about going through COVID and where do you practice. And it's really special to mention all those contributions. And I think for listeners, too, getting excited or hearing about something that's important to folks is energizing in and of itself. So we'll have ways to support Sicktown Roller Derby for the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast listeners. But one of the pieces I also wanted to ask you is about what you see as a referee about how important the team is in teamwork, in working, in learning this. A lot of the athletes are saying, well, they had gone through maybe a period of not being connected to folks out of the pandemic or being able to work together physically. How big is the team aspect from what you see?
You know, it really is the biggest part of it. You know, you can do trail skating and you can go to the skate rink and whatever and practice your own skills, but if you're not getting together with the team and working on, you know, you have to do offense and defense at the same time. That takes years to learn how to do, and you can't do that without as many people here as possible. And so it's really important. I went through COVID, you know, in Derby too, and we just skated outside because I was in New Mexico at the time. But, you know, it's important to actually be able to skate together and touch each other and hit each other. And if you don't do those things, then you're not really ready to bout. So it's really important. The communication is important, the working together, knowing how to touch each other, how to hit each other, how to fall. All those things are just so integral. It's a team sport in every sense of the word. So it's definitely not a solo thing. I mean, you have your superstars, but they can't do it without everybody else either.
Thank you so much for what you do, and best of luck keeping all the athletes that I just met in check.
I don't know if that's possible, but that's part of the fun. It's a rebellious sport for a reason, you know?
It's a sport we can appreciate. Thanks so much for spending the time.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing.
One more grr.